big break because we have a big crowd that we want to celebrate today, and I appreciate the media as always being here as we celebrate the great employees of the city of Albuquerque and our heroes because they're doing great work. Today we're going to talk about one of the key missions of the biopark in the zoo and the work that these ladies and gentlemen do on behalf of the citizens of Albuquerque, and that is the conservation mission. The biopark and the zoo are the number one attraction in New Mexico, and we all have a great time going there with our families, and we can hear music, and we can see interesting things, and we can take summer classes. There's an educational component that's very robust. But one of the most important things is conservation. So today we are going to be recognizing Dr. Carol Bradford, Josh Davis, Lindsay Egan, Matt Eschenbrenner, Chaz Moxley, Clovis Perea, and Kim Ward. And we're doing that because of their conservation efforts and their passionate ambassadorship during a critical international mission at the Zoo National, okay, ready? Abidjan?
Look at Matt. Matt will tell you if it's right.
Abidjan, or ZNA as they call it, in Cote d'Ivoire, Africa. Is that right, Cote?
Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire, yeah, got close. Long ways from here. They went. For the past 3 years, this team of biopark employees has worked with the staff at ZNA on species conservation, especially conservation of the endangered West African slender-snouted crocodile. Recent surveys show a grim reality for this particular species. There are fewer than 50 of these confirmed in the wild. It is the least known crocodile on Earth and is critically endangered due to the bushmeat leather trades, large-scale habitat destruction, and competition for fish with the fisheries that are there, as fishing nets can also entangle these crocodiles. So although ZNA houses the largest captive population in the world, they struggle with breeding because zookeepers lacked the supplies and the training. It was in 2013 when Matt learned more about Project, okay, help me?
Mesostops.
Man, you scientists, which led to the biopark's involvement with ZNA. So this project is a group of institutions worldwide, West African zoos, universities, and individuals dedicated to the survival of the West African crocodiles. This project is the first project in Africa specifically designed to reinforce and revive locally extinct crocodile populations. So the Albuquerque Biopark employees have successfully worked with ZNA to increase the number of species in the wild. Since 2014, by sharing egg handling and incubation techniques, the employees have helped ZNA go from a struggling breeding program for the currently endangered crocodiles to producing more than 50 new hatchlings. ZNA is also recovering from the effects of 2 civil wars, one in 2002 and one in 2011. Some of the fighting occurred just outside of ZNA's gates, leaving the zoo in poor condition. The Albuquerque Biopark staff trained the ZNA staff on modern zoological and animal husbandry practices. To help ZNA get back on its feet, the staff also assisted in other areas across the zoo, including some of the basics, welding, hoofstock, general animal examinations. And this past year, the staff worked on refurbishing the filtration machine for the crocodile exhibit at the ZNA. In addition, ZNA also benefited from new gear that was gifted by the biopark crew. Work boots for the crocodile keepers, work shirts, camera, a tablet, second reptile incubator, and numerous veterinary supplies. So these generous efforts were funded by Barry Bitzer. I saw Barry here. Where'd he go? There he is. Barry Bitzer and Damien Vargas with the New Mexico Biopark Society's Conservation Fund, and they help and actually pay for these annual visits. This hard work goes beyond just helping ZNA, however. These employees are also ambassadors for the biopark, for the city of Albuquerque, for the state of New Mexico, and for the United States. Their core work in Cote d'Ivoire has taken them from working with crocodiles to meeting with the deputy chief of staff in the Ivorian ministry, ambassadors from the United States, Canadian, and also the Italian embassies. So that you can see that conservation is an important part of the work and the mission of the Albuquerque Biopark. But many programs support local, state, and international conservation efforts, and I think in today's world, the ambassadorship component may be as important as any. I mean, we just live in a time where we need to make friends, as many friends as we can, as many places we can, and we do that by extending a hand. So for these reasons, Dr. Bradford, Josh Davis, Lindsay Egan, Matt Eschenbrenner, And Chaz Moxley, Clovis Perea, and Kim Ward were chosen as this week's Employees of the Week. And I want to have Dana Feldman, who's our Director of Cultural Affairs, come up. And then I don't know if JT is going to say anything or not. But Dana, would you like to take over? And then we've got a bunch of mugs to hand out here. So come on up.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Dana Feldman. I'm the Director of the City's Cultural Services Department, and the BioPark is a division of that department. I really want to say that thank you to Mayor Barry for his support of the BioPark crew, support of the individuals here today, and also for support of the master plan. If you've been out to the zoo recently, you've seen that the Penguin Chill is getting ready. The Tropical America building is now down. So we're working on a lot of very large projects. We're also working on some smaller projects too, like replacing the Butterfly Pavilion for this summer. So we'll have a new space on the Botanic Garden side of the facility. But it's really just important to say that one of the reasons why we're doing the master plan, it's for the citizens of Albuquerque, it's for our visitors, but it's also to be better at our conservation and education mission. That's one of the key goals of the master plan project. And it's just important to say that our impact doesn't always stop and end in Albuquerque. I looked it up on Google yesterday, and it's 6,500 miles from Albuquerque to Abidjan. So we do a lot of international and national conservation efforts, some regional too, and some just here in the state. But to Mayor's point about being ambassadors, this group of folks, they're getting ready to go back again this summer. And Matt was just telling me, he's one of the folks that actually brought this to BioPark Society's attention, BioPark's attention, and got this effort together. He just told me that some of the folks from Africa will be coming to our zoo here this summer as well. So it's really an exchange of expertise and exchange of knowledge, and it really is an ambassador program. So thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you to everyone here.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to say this too. You know, we've been, I don't know why I got hoarse all of a sudden. Excuse me. You know, during my time as mayor, we came into office at a time where we had a real fiscal crisis, and we've had to ask our employees, and no one more than the BioPark employees, to do more with less for the last number of years. And they have stepped up even during these times when we didn't have all the resources that we wish that we had. This year's budget, we've got some good things coming, I believe, to the BioPark as far as some zookeeper type positions and things. But also at the same time, you know, we hadn't done a master plan for the zoo since the 1970s. We did the master plan, and that was a real community effort led by experts, both in the BioPark, at the zoo, outside of Albuquerque, the BioPark Society, and others. And then the BioPark Society, a special thank you again, they went out and asked the citizens of Albuquerque if they wanted to make an investment in this crown jewel in our community. And the citizens said yes. And so the BioPark, not only are we, not only are we on 39 months of job growth in Albuquerque, our economy's on a fairly steady incline now. That's allowing us to have some additional resources to provide additional funding. But now we're going to have $250 million over the next 15 years invested in this great facility to help these professionals do their work. So for me as a mayor, to all of you, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for doing a great job during austere times. And I think we see some light at the end of the tunnel here. So what we will do is we'll do one here as an example, and then we'll get them to everybody. But we have an Employee of the Week mug for everyone that's here today, except you. You're too young for coffee. It'll stunt your growth, just trust me. But we have an Employee of the Week certificate for everybody. I'll read Matt's for you here. It says to Matt Eschenbrenner, on behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your public service and your dedication. Your actions exceeded the call of duty and went beyond normal expectations. For the entire week of March 20th, 2017, you were entitled to all the privileges set forth by the Office of the Mayor as Employee of the Week. So we also have a file for each of your personnel files with a letter of gratitude from me and from your community that you serve. So thanks for being great at what you do. Thanks for being dedicated, and thanks for being great ambassadors. And JT, thanks for our newest member. Well, I guess we have one newer member.
One newer, yeah.
Now, but appreciate all that you're doing down there. And so let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate it very much. Today's Friday's heroes are Albuquerque firefighters. We have firefighter Travis Gentry with us today. Travis is here. Firefighter Jerry Goodyear. Jerry's on here. Lieutenant Calvin Lang, and driver Cullen McDonald. Cullen's not here. And I've also got Assistant Chief Carl Eiselhard here, who's going to say a few words in a minute. These gentlemen are on Engine 15 out of Firehouse 15. On early February evening of this year, AFD Engine 15, and Julie Carpenter, an EMT paramedic with the Albuquerque Ambulance Service, received a 32B call at an unknown, that means an unknown issue, an unknown problem, on San Mateo Boulevard. When firefighter Gentry, firefighter Goodyear, Lieutenant Lang, driver McDonald, and Julie arrived, they noticed the man was sitting next to his wheelchair on the sidewalk. He reported that the wheel on his wheelchair was broken and was not able to move. He explained to Lieutenant Lang, his crew, and Julie that he was struck by a vehicle the day before, and that caused the wheel to break into pieces. After listening to the man explain what had happened, driver McDonald knew that they had to do something more than just render medical aid to get the man moving again. He recalled seeing numerous spare wheelchairs at Grace Church here in the city of Albuquerque. So the AFD team drove to the Grace Church of Albuquerque to see if they would be willing to donate one of their unused wheelchairs. While Engine 15 staff were gone, Julie was exploring all other options to replace the man's wheelchair by placing several phone calls herself. Her admirable attempts were unsuccessful, so she was preparing to purchase a wheelchair herself. But shortly thereafter, AFD staff arrived with a replacement wheelchair for the man and generously donated by the church. Julie observed that the staff of Engine 15 went above and beyond their normal duties by successfully replacing the man's wheelchair, which is why she nominated them for the heroic actions they're being recognized for today. She observed the crew go out of their way to ensure the man's freedom of mobility as well as his well-being. And so for this reason, firefighter Gentry, firefighter Goodyear, Lieutenant Lang, and driver McDonald were chosen as this week's Friday's Heroes. I'm going to have Carl Eisenhart talk a little bit here more about these gentlemen and the work that the firefighters in Albuquerque do, but also very appreciative to Albuquerque Ambulance Service and the work that's provided by them. And so we're very appreciative as a community. Carl, you want to say a couple of words, and then we'll hand out some of the coins here.
Thank you, man. So, thank you guys. You really went above and beyond that day. It's true caring and compassion that you demonstrated that day for humanity. That's not something we teach. That's not something that's in a policy. That's not something that's in a SOG somewhere. That's something that came from the heart. That's at its base value what really gets firefighters into the business and EMTs into the business. It's interesting to note that they were nominated by the Albuquerque ambulance person who was actually, as you said, Mayor, willing to go and purchase one on her own. So I think that speaks volumes to the mindset of our EMTs and our firefighters out there. So thank you. We really appreciate the hard work that you do.
Thank you. So, gentlemen, what we have is a Friday's Heroes coin, and it says the Mayor's Public Safety Heroes Award for this week. It says Police, Fire, and Emergency Management on it, and these were coins that I had commissioned for these exact times when we just want to say a little extra thank you to you, the work that you do on a day-to-day basis, the compassion that you bring to your work, your love for your community, and just this can-do attitude that we have. You know, we have our fire department is one of the top 1% of the fire departments in the country from a ranking standpoint. But so that's spectacular in and of itself. But if you talk to the men and women in the Albuquerque Fire Department, you'll see why that is. They are very professional. They are very caring. And so I'd like to just give each one of you gentlemen one of our coins with our gratitude as a mayor and as a community. And once again, gentlemen, thanks for coming with your dad today. Sir, thank you. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. See you. I've got one for everybody.
Those two go to. No,
Okay. So there you go. We'll go. Coins for everyone this morning. So once again, these gentlemen will be around for interviews with the media as well. So once again, thank you all for your dedication. So today we're also doing a Volunteer of the Month, which is Carol Cole, Irene Olivas, who goes by Olivas.
She's not here today.
She's not here today. Brian Snyder and Celeste Snyder as well. Thank you for being with us today. Last, we're recognizing Carol and Irene and Brian and Celeste for going above and beyond while volunteering for Love INC here in Albuquerque, and Berger's going to talk about that in just a minute. Love INC has been operating in the Albuquerque area since November of 2007. The organization's mission is to mobilize churches to transform the lives and communities in the name of Christ. And we just had the Friday's Heroes where we talked about Grace Church doing something good. And I can just tell you as a mayor, I meet with the faith community on a regular basis, and we have a couple of events twice a year. And the faith leaders in this community, from the churches and the synagogues and the mosque and you name it, they stand up on a regular basis and they say, how can we help? And Love Inc. is certainly doing that. It's a network of churches that work together to accomplish more than they could individually. It's a cooperative effort between multiple religious organizations to provide effective help for those who are disadvantaged. These churches provide a helpline where someone in need can make a phone call and get connected to multiple resources. Carol volunteers her time to serve as the receptionist for Love Inc. of Albuquerque, and she does so for almost every hour that the business is open. That's a lot of hours, I'm guessing? A lot of hours? Carol performs every task that is asked of her, and she also serves as the chairwoman of the board of directors. This position in and of itself is a volunteer position and takes up a significant amount of her time as well. Carol's service and willingness to spend so much time has really helped Love Inc. to flourish in the city of Albuquerque. Irene has been volunteering for Love Inc. for several years. She works in the call center, is often the first contacts that the clients have with the organization. Irene is a wealth of information about community resources and knows where to refer to people who are asking for help. She is bilingual. She also provides a critical service for those calling in Spanish. Brian and Celeste Snyder are a husband and wife duo who are always there for whatever Love Inc. needs them to do. Anytime that someone needs furniture picked up or if Love Inc. needs a team to do a home visit, the Snyders are always there, ready to answer the call. They help Love Inc. with office help, sorting and cleaning donated goods, and anything else that the organization requires. Wonderful volunteers are really what make Albuquerque great. And these particular volunteers' passion and enthusiasm to help Love Inc. to do what they do so effectively is why we're recognizing them as our Volunteers of the Month. So if you've, we talked about it twice already today, but let's just talk about ABQ Kindness again. And we're asking our faith community to step up in a big way on that. We're asking folks to download the Kindness app, share acts of kindness. I imagine you do dozens and dozens of those every day. Help us get to our 1 million acts of kindness, so we would invite everybody to do that as well. And I'm going to have, Birgit, did you want to say anything? Would you like to? Sure. You're on the radio, so I know you could probably come on up and talk about Love Inc. just a little bit.
Right,
Sorry,
thank you.
I put you on the spot.
It was a strange transition from radio to this organization in one sense, but I worked with a lot of faith groups as I was on the radio, and now I get to work with them really in the trenches, so it's been an honor to do that. But I do want to commend all of our volunteers, and this is just a small percentage of those people that we have working with us. We are a staff of 3, myself and 2 others, and the 2 others are part-timers, so you can imagine to run an organization with the need level that we have in Albuquerque requires a tremendous amount of involvement from our volunteers. So I cannot appreciate enough the hard work that they do. They show up and they make it possible to run this organization, and I just want to honor them. So thank you for what you do.
And Dathan Weems is our board chair for the ABQ Volunteers. I want to invite him up to make a few comments as well. And then we've got some more coffee mugs and such. So come on up, Dathan. Good to see you.
Echoing what Mayor mentioned, the faith-based community is a cornerstone of service in our community. And if you will, the cornerstone of that cornerstone is Love Inc. And the work they do to organize all of that enthusiasm, all of those resources, all of that effort. And we're very proud to be able to honor the work that you all do through your volunteers, but for the organization entirely. If you can imagine as yourself as a person in need, and all of us are one bad moment from being that person. If you're making a phone call in, imagine that it's Irene, it's Carol. These are the people that are going to be answering that call for you, and it's the work of you folks that's going to be filling in that gap for that person in need. And it's so powerful and so important. So thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate it. So we also have a certificate. We have coffee mugs. So we need you. It sounds like you need to make sure you're caffeinated for all of this. But this is Carol's, and we'll have one for everybody. And everybody's reads the same. It says, ABQ Volunteers. This certificate is awarded to Carol Cole in this case. On behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for volunteering both your time and your talent. You've been granted this award because of your generosity and your countless hours that you have spent investing in our community's well-being. So with a grateful heart, we say thanks.
Thank you.
And keep it up. And I need to get one of those pins too. I'll grab one. There you go. All right, I'll